start to pressure you, it's alright, I will give you time.
Hello, so I'm Keidras, and I want to show you guys a little bit about this Firefox add-on I use. I used it for a while, and then I stopped because it stopped working for me, but then I reinstalled it, and it seems to be working better. I was looking for some user videos on this, and I didn't really find any that were... I found one, but to be honest, it wasn't that great. It was kind of going over something for a friend, so it was from a specific perspective, which is fine, and it's great that they did that for their friend. But I kind of wanted to do, I guess, kind of the same thing for my own players. Right now, I'm actually playing in a campaign, and my friend is GMing, but I let him use mine because I have a pro Roll20 subscription. But I also do a lot with macros and streaming and things like that. And there are some issues with Chrome with running Roll20, and that it lags a lot or has performance issues. And also, there's just some improvements that can be made, and a lot of those improvements I found were made with the VTT Enhancement suite. I will put a link to it in the description. And if we go back, but I have everything in dark mode. It does change the default layout of your Roll20 once you log in. There's everything looks more compact, really. And then over here we have our page toolbar is now vertical rather than the horizontal one, which I like. You have you can copy, trash, you can go to your settings for your pages here. Basically still the same. It does look it's a little bit cleaner. I don't know if this is actually part of VTT or just Firefox because I usually do it in Chrome, but I think it looks better on this version here. And then also what we have over here, let's go ahead and close out of this page. Here we can set a default camera position. This only works if for users that have VTTES installed. So both your GMs and your players will need to have it installed. But this will set the default camera position if you always wanted them. For instance, let's say on this map, I always wanted them to have this view right here. Or let's say I wanted them specifically looking at the Slayers Guild because that's what our campaign is at. I can say, okay, let's set the default camera position, set it from our current camera, and then we can enable it, set it, we can preview it. So let's go ahead and disable or enable, go ahead and move around, and I can preview and see this is what they're gonna get when they first log in. So rather than going based off of their settings before, it'll show you exactly where you want them to have, and you can do that for each page. Then we just click up here on the right to close it. You also see here, so it will show you which token or which layer tokens are on. Here's a couple I have on a map layer, just some little, like a little moose I added, things like that. I'll show you that more in depth as well. This button right here lets you add an animated background. So to do an animated background, you can see ways of posting your background, which was this here. What I did is I actually uploaded mine to Dropbox. I removed the question mark DLL. I made sure it was in my public folder. And then I added the question mark raw equals 1 at the end. And then what that did is, if I come back here, and I'm going to go ahead and close this one, let's go ahead and move my page to the token layer that I use. I always have a token layer where I put in my characters, and here's a animated background. So this replaces the, in order to see this, they have to be running the VTTES add-on. So any of my players that would not be able to see this, but I have this little sun in the background. This is some royalty-free. Actually, I may have actually bought this, I think. I forget. But anyway, I do have permission to use it in my videos. And then here's my tokens I used to have, and I would set all my tokens up. From here, you see it changed the layout a little bit, so I can see here's my... rather than have the circle buttons up top, I can see this is the AC I set. This one's our sanity and our health meter. And then you'll see this TK means it's on the token layer. If I was to move this by right-clicking, and let's say I move it to the map layer, I can see it's now on the map layer. Or let's say I go to the map layer. And then let's move this to GM layer. So now it's on the GM layer. They said you're supposed to be able to middle click and it'll take you to that layer, but mine adds this there. So I don't know if there's something I need to enable for that or what. But let's go back to my GM layer. Click on this, right click, and I'm going to go ahead and move this back to the token layer. It also added a few other features you can do with these. And if you want to know all the different features, if you click on the gear icon on the top right, and we can click on VTT settings. So here's all the different things. We can disable players drawing, so we can actually turn that off so players can't draw. Adjustable GM layer opacity, so we can change how opaque the GM layer is. We can remember our text tool settings that we want. We can have an animated background, so we can turn this on or off. And it does give you a little bit of information over here on the right. We can turn on the alternate token radials. So even if we don't like some of these features, we can turn them off, which is also nice. We can put it in compact mode or not. Turn on arrow keys to move your cameras. We can have different page toolbar menu. So this is the one. If you like the old one, you can turn this off. If you like the one that's vertical, turn this on. We can disable animations completely. So I actually want my users to be able to do animations, and I want them to be able to do drawings. We can force a background color to a specific color all times. We can display the current layer on the canvas. So we can say, okay, we're on this. This will show us which one we're currently looking at down here in the bottom right, so we don't have to go up to the toolbar. Here's the mouse click to switch to layer token. We could say let's also select the token. We don't want to go to the lights layer or the maps layer. Must hold down the shift key. Okay, so we hold down the shift key and click on a token with the middle mouse, and that's what will take us to that layer. We can scale them by size. We can draw token layers onto a token. So this is right here. Shows us which ones are there. We can set a transparent canvas. We can hide the player list. So if we don't want to see all the players down the bottom. We can set our default camera. So we do have that on. We can set custom line widths. So rather than the default, you can actually choose the size of your line. We also have added extra rulers, so you can have a box or a radius, things like that. We can change how the status tokens show up. We can do bulk macros, which I'll show you here in a bit. We can do a token counter. As an option, the token right-click the menu that will add an increasing counter to the name of all selected tokens. So this will go up every time a round finishes. I think it might just be when you add the token. This module is only usable by GMs. Yep. Reassign represents when duplicating. The character token editor I'll show you. We can roll and apply hit dice. Shows you right here. It automatically rolls their hit dice. We're going to turn that off because I don't want to do that. The player's going to mess that up, I think. We can do easy token resizing. And then we have here the audio. So this is for adding URLs to a jukebox. We can create a token from a URL as well. So let's say you have a token you're updating and you're hosting it somewhere. Rather than having to go in and upload it all the time, so you're saving on Dropbox or something, you can do this. We can turn on, open the turn tracker on initiative. I think I might turn that on. Ping visible tokens, so that when you go through it pings it. Select that token. So it selects the token. Automatically sort the initiative. Control right arrow, advanced shortcuts must be enabled. You can turn it off, move cameras to token. I also already use TurnMaker to do kind of these, but this just double up with this makes it a little bit easier for when I'm streaming. And then here we have the exporting and importing. So this lets you do the same thing that Transmog works, but without having to have a Transmog Pro subscription. It also lets you do more, because with Transmog, you can't actually import and export macros or jukebox entries. This will export them all to JSONs. Well, you can do journals, but you can't do player macros or jukebox. So this will export them in JSON, and then you can re-import them in JSON in another campaign if you wanted to. So basically the Pro Transmog feature without having the Pro Transmog feature. You can also duplicate journal entries, and then character sheet ability macro generator, which is really cool. I'll show you. And then we can also set a rollable table avatar by URL. So we can do this by URLs as well. Some performance improvements. I don't know if this does make it work a lot better, but this has been working better than it did on Chrome for me. Here we can set the avatar. So if we wanted our avatar to change, not the token, but just the avatar itself can be changed by a URL. We can also have handouts. So if we wanted the handout to dynamically update for different reasons and we were hosting it on like Dropbox or Google or Drive or something like that, we can use that. So once you have all that, we can apply and close. So let me show you a couple of those features as well. So I have this animated background. We have all these tokens. I can go ahead and let's select all of my, well, first let's get on the objects and tokens layer. Actually, so if we go to the map layer, let's do what? Shift middle click. And yeah, it takes me to the token layer and selected that icon. So shift middle click to select which layer the token is on. I'm going to go ahead and highlight these all. So I have these one macros that I made earlier and have these for the different tokens. But in this case, I have these all selected. And I'm just going to right click and I could add a counter. I can resize these. I could copy the token image URL, which is great for me because I add this into OBS, and then I use OBS to kind of copy that image for when my players are talking and it shows them. But what I want to show you is this roll bulk macro. So I do that and I go ahead and do, let's do initiative. Because it did initiative, it opened up the turn order and it took a few seconds, but it automatically rearranged it by descending order. And then we can go through. And the reason it's pinging it twice is because I have Turn Maker installed, but that's okay. So easy way of seeing macros. If I wanted to right click on this and add a counter for some reason, here's Marcus Cara 1. And then I don't know, let's see if it goes up. Yeah, so I don't really know the purpose of adding a counter because even when I add it again, it doesn't go up any further. So I'm not really sure on that part. But anyway, it is what it is. Over here, nothing looks too different. Our assets don't look any different. Over here on the journal, we can import our characters and handouts. So if we wanted to import some JSON files, this is where you can do that. If we actually open up one of these handouts, like let's look at our heist notes, we can overwrite, we can export. So this is a new button. It'll save a JSON to your downloads folder, and then you can upload that to basically import this. So rather than transmogging from one campaign to another, you can just do import and export using VTT. Now if we actually open up, let's see, we just did these, yeah, edit. We can set an image from a URL. So rather than just having a handout set by a certain file, if we wanted it to dynamically update, we can do that. Duplicate and change as well. But let's go ahead and look at the character sheet let's go ahead and look at mine. So here's Merrick. And again, I don't know if this is from Roll20 being on Firefox or if it's from VTES, but I think the character sheet looks better and is cleaner on this one. We can see all the different buttons. If we want to add, click on them. Well, these are manually put in here. But you'll also notice, so we have these three are normal, but then macro generator is new, and so is the export and overwrite and the token editor. So we'll look at export and overwrite. This is just where you can export your character file. We can overwrite it, export the components of it. This only works for, they say it pretty much works for 5e. You can try it for others like Pathfinder and stuff, but right now D&D 5e is the supported character sheet. But the macro generator is really cool. So I'm going to do macro generator, open generator macros. I'm going to go ahead and select the D&D 5e. I'm going to go ahead and toggle all these off because I just want to do my spell books. So I have level 1 and level 2 spell books. I'm going to do an Uber foldering method. I can show it as a token action. I could just do these as non-token actions, and then they would be macros that show up on my bar. But so I'm going to do these as a token. Shows me what that macro would look like. And here's, since this is an Uber folder, I'm going to click on OK. It's going to save that macro. And probably if I come over here to macros, okay, so I click on Merrick, and now I have this Uber folder. And it shows me my entire level 1 spellbook and my level 2 spellbook. And then I can click on, let's say, Animal Friendship, and submit it at what level I want to cast it for. So that's one way of doing those. Now let's go back to that token editor. So let's go back to Merrick. Let's just do my cantrips this time. We're going to do small folders. I don't know what the difference is, so we're going to find out. So spellbooks, cantrips. Okay. I did it as a token action again, right? So there's all my cantrips. This one just went to me personally. Did this one up here go to me? Yeah, this one just went to me, and then I could cast it to the, then when I cast it, it goes to the GM. Produce flame, or I can make it public or not. Oh, it's because I am the GM, that's why. Let's do it again. So that was local folders. Let's go back and go back to Merrick. We're going to do macro generator, open this, select the 5e sheet, toggle all. We're going to do my player traits, but we're not going to do it as a token action, and we're not going to do foldering, okay? So we don't do foldering, and we don't do it as a player action. So here's all of these. And I hit OK. Goes through, it's saving them. Now here's the question. So it doesn't add them as a token. So are they added as, where are they added then? Because they're not up here. Import our tables from JSON. Do I have to be Merrick? Or is this something that isn't currently working? Okay, let's do the same thing again. Merrick. Yeah, it doesn't look, it looks like you have to add them as we'll do my player attacks. We'll do it as an action, but with no foldering. So these are our different attacks. Hit OK. And then the question is, okay, so if it's going to add them as a token action, yeah. So you do flaming sphere. All right, but now how do we edit these and get rid of them? Because they're not import. Let's see, is it here? Export. Nope. So we can import and export these ones that we've made. Rollable tables, import from table, paste. But how do we edit these ones that we've added? Can we? I might need to look into this. Open generator, character sheets. Export override, yeah. Set the image from a URL. Tags, different. It'd be nice if they added in here a way you could add images into these fields as well, if that's even possible. But what is cool here is, so I have this token layer or page, so I could go in and edit tokens and resave them. Don't have to do that anymore. I can just go to token editor and put in the information I want. So for my players, I have their name, their armor class is bar 1. This pulls from armor class. Other resources are sanity, which is a bar, HP bar. Everyone can see it. People can edit it. So visible to everyone, but only editable by the people who have ownership. Right now we have all of our characters have a very minimum night vision, so they can only see where the token is when they put it in, but you can easily adjust it here for the token permanently if you wanted to. It's like night vision or something like that. View distance and fog of war, say they emit light. And then we can also update all tokens across all pages, or just the default token for when you pull one out. So if I have a change and I don't update every single token that's already out on the map, I can do that. We can refresh as needed, of course, and we'll lose any changes. We didn't make any. So we have that, which is pretty cool. Computing isn't any different. Here we can, VTTS is where we could add a URL, just like the video hosted on like Dropbox or something like that. So we can add not only basically things that aren't just Roll20 audio. And then here, let's see. Yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna edit these out, but we'll figure it out. Import and export macros, but these are only the ones that I've custom made, so it's not these other ones that were made by the macro editor. Import rollable tables, and actually let's look. If we add a rollable table, we can add an item, choose a file, but we can also choose a URL, so not just any file if we wanted to have it dynamically update for some reason. And then here, I don't think any of this has changed. Yeah, these are all the same. So this is my brief overview of the VTT Enhancement Suite for Mozilla Firefox. I'll put a link on how you can get it. If you have any questions, go to their website, look it over. It looks like the last time it was updated was a few months ago. But some really neat features. And yeah. I'll see if I figure out how, or if anybody knows how to actually remove these macros that were made. That would be great. I'll do some investigation, see if I can find it out myself. So, all right, take care.